Look at this. We are back again with Erika Brown of the Cricket coming at us from her beautiful office in downtown Manchester by the Sea. How you doing, Erika?
Yes, beautiful office, beautiful office.
Yeah.
Hey, good to see you. We took the week off last week. You were at Shallon Lu, and I was at the Great Marsh Symposium, which was
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
talk about
Beautiful
that.
venue. So
It was really good. Yeah.
we have a lot to catch up on, Erika. First off, how about a follow-up on the Manchester Matters fiasco?
Yes, Manchester Matters, name of the year.
Mm.
Um, we talked a couple weeks ago, and at the time, it was this kind of great mystery. And what it was is that a group that had taken great pains to remain anonymous. That was sort of the writing, the wording, had sent out a blanketed postcard mailer to every town, every resident and business in Manchester to lobby against the planning board in Manchester's articles, which the select board have endorsed. So it's essentially town articles, right? That are going to be considered at tonight's town meeting, the special town meeting in Manchester, and it has to do with the zoning bylaw. And it's been going on for a very long time. We've talked many times about it in the last 3 years because that's how long they've been working on it. And it was anonymous. It came from an outside group. It was lobbying against these articles to voters, and it was the exact clone of a town mailer that had gone out the week before with this seal and everything, encouraging people to get more information about these articles, right? So the week after, there was a cloned email by this group called Manchester Matters, which is like Black Lives Matter, right? That's kind of where it comes from. Basically saying the exact opposite, and it confused a lot of voters. It had a town seal. It was really, a big deal. So we talked about it. It was illegal. It's illegal to do that. And it's illegal to use a town seal. That's Massachusetts law. And then also the US government also doesn't like what they call government look-alike mailers. That's actually the phrase that's used. And you're not supposed to do that either. And in some cases, that's also illegal. So literally within 24 hours of us writing the article and they, Facebook had taken down the website and the page. It was a private Facebook group that was administered by an alias or somebody that appears to be an alias. It's like 99% sure. As a matter of fact, the person doesn't exist on Facebook anymore. So yes, that was an alias. That's also been wiped. So with all of that, what happened was 24 hours after we spoke, the person responsible for Manchester Matters, or at least the leader, Sheila Pigeon Hill, who is well known in Manchester as being sort of a common commentator on all things government here. She came out and said, "I'm the head of Manchester Matters," and she took responsibility, and she apologized to the select board for using the town seal and said it really was a matter of filler. They just needed some filler in the postcard.
A
So
stamp of
use
approval, sure. Yeah, just that over there.
filler. So anyway, so she came out and fessed up, and she also said that there was a website that was supposed to be they didn't mean to be anonymous. There was supposed to be a website, but they had some technical issues. So anyway, they came out with a second mailer actually that hit last week. And it wasn't so much a clone anymore. It was sort of meant to be, I guess, corrective, but the QR code still goes to the Facebook page that's been taken down, so it doesn't go anywhere. And the Manchester Matters website, a lot of it is like just temporary pages with almost Greek. It's not Greek, but it basically is filler copy, like from the WordPress template. And and it doesn't say anything. It doesn't say who they are really, other than just we care about transparency in government, like that kind of thing. It doesn't say who they are, the leadership or things like that. But anyway, there you go. That's what happened.
Okay.
We'll see more of them tonight at town meeting. I mean, they'll be speaking against these articles. So there you go.
Okay. All right. We'll continue to follow that. Great stuff. New management at the MAC, Erika.
Yes, the Manchester Athletic Club. This kind of feels like a little bit of a capstone. It's kind of because we've had this sort of not drama, but a lot of things happening with the Manchester Athletic Club. The owner, Anthony Simboli of the Manchester Athletic Club, who purchased it 12 years ago, I think, the property from John Donovan, who had run and really nurtured and developed the tennis program a long time ago, and then died of cancer very young as a young father. So sort of everyone knew him. But anyway, so Anthony Simboli sold the 50-acre parcel to Cell Signaling, and that is all going to spool out next year because they're going to build a big biotech campus there in the limited commercial district. But the Manchester Athletic Club was kind of hanging in the balance because a lot of people, it's a 3,000 member club, and people were saying, oh my gosh, with a nationally known tennis program, their tennis program is like amazing. Their youth
Has
tennis.
been for decades, yeah.
So there was a lot of questions. What's going to happen to the Manchester Athletic Club? And there wasn't a lot of clarity from the new owner, really. They were going to keep it open, then they were going to shut it, then they were going to do that. They've got a new operator now. It's really seems to be very solid. They've got an executive director, and his name is Bobby Verdun, and a new team that's it's kind of nice because the team, Francisco Montoya is going to be continuing to head up the tennis program, but then they have people like, the tennis manager, Lori Potter. She's been there for decades and decades. She's in the team now. The head of sort of fitness, the pro shop manager, is Steve Banks. He's been there for forever. He's part of the senior team. But then they have a new marketing manager who started just before the new ownership. He started during COVID. So he's kind of in between. And then you've got the new people. So they sat down and they've got a really nice idea of, they want to make it really emphasize families, which is great. They're going to emphasize tennis. They're going to emphasize families. They're going to emphasize basketball, which is not surprising at all because Bobby Verdun he's a former basketball coach at Salem State University, and then also the former basketball and I believe tennis coach at Franklin Pierce University, which is up in New Hampshire. So he's got real chops. He also, by the way, fun fact, he's very friendly apparently with Adam Sandler, the actor and the producer and the movie
And basketball lover, Sandler.
And he's a basketball lover. And I guess his latest film on Netflix, which is I think called Hustle.
Hustle, yeah, it was really good.
And it's about, he plays a scout, right? A basketball.
He's an NBA scout for the Philly 76ers, yeah.
Yeah. Well, Bobby Verdun, the executive director of the Manchester Athletic Club, was employed by Adam Sandler to help him make
as a consultant?
As a consultant to be more authentic.
Cool.
Yeah, this is kind of nice.
That's a fun twist.
Yeah, so it's really good. It's nice to see them, sort of breathing life back in, and they want to encourage people to come on in and join the club again and do that. And I think it's gonna do well.
Good, great stuff. Okay, and lastly, Erika, the community did suffer a loss.
Yes, and also it's kind of a loss close to the Manchester Cricket, although not the Manchester Cricket for me, the Manchester Cricket under the Slades, who owned it for over 100 years before I took it over. And that it would be Dick Toll, who I knew him and he just died at, and he's, okay, it's hard to explain what he was because he was so much, he was such a community guy, but, he was Mr. Manchester Club, Mr. Everything, but he also happened to be for decades the police photographer for the town and also the photographer for the Manchester Cricket. So I inherited all of these amazing, this archive that was all much of it was taken by Dick Toll, and that's how I met him. He's just got a heart of gold. But he also, with the police department, he was an auxiliary police officer. He was a volunteer firefighter. He trained the police officers on safety. He also rewired the cruisers. That's what, Todd Fitzgerald, the police chief here, was telling me. I mean, they had some great pictures, and one of the best pictures that Todd put out there, which is amazing, is a picture of Dick from back in I think it was back in the early 90s, where he was training the police officers, and they took a group picture, and there's Dick and all of the officers, including Todd Fitzgerald, who's been with the police force forever. But there is also Paul Francis. Do you know Paul Francis? He's the police chief over in Essex. Yeah. Full head of hair as like a 20-year-old.
We have photographic evidence, yes.
So I love that. But anyway, so that's Dick. Dick was such a great guy, heart of gold, really amazing, and we are going to miss him. So there you go.
Nicely said. All right, Erika, we'll let you get to day one of the town meetings. Starting tonight.
Day one, and it looks like it's going to go 2 nights. And then Essex too. So we're going to have a lot to talk about next week.
You got it. All right, I'll catch you then. Take care.
Interested in a sponsorship? Email sponsor@1623studios.org to learn more.